Hi, welcome to the small shed. This Saturday I want to get on and tidy up a bird feeder that we've got in the garden. See you in a minute. Well, here we are, 1 week, 6 days into the 12-week period of enforced idleness. One of the things that is a problem with the Saturday channel is that I don't always know what's coming until relatively late on, and indeed this week the only thing I had that was worthy of any sort of repair work was putting a new handle, or putting the old handle back on our broom, which wouldn't exactly make for riveting watching. It would be over in about 3 minutes flat, I think. But yesterday my wife mentioned that perhaps our bird feeder ought to be resurrected. It had fallen over last year in the winds, crashed down to the floor, pretty poor state generally all round. I thought it could do the quick spruce up. We have got some bird food. I'll probably have to go out foraging for some more, but hopefully I can get hold of some more. But as it's spring and there is only now the sound of birds in the garden, which is very nice, the traffic roar has pretty much subsided to nothing. So I thought it would be nice to get them fed up, because it's springtime and they're all starting to raise their own little families and would need some additional feeding. So that's the task for today. We're going to have a look and see what there is, what's wrong with it, see if we can repair it and put it all back together again. So let's start having a look at what's wrong with this whole thing. Everything's rusty and wants a coat of paint, if nothing else. I'm not going to go to great lengths, but I shall try and get most of the rough rust off, probably with a wire brush, give it an undercoat of primer and get it painted black again. That's not really the biggest problem. The biggest snag is that this was cast in a concrete base that I think my dad did many years ago, and it's slightly rocking, and that really exacerbates the problem when you get it 3 or 4 feet up the pole. It starts to make it feel pretty unbalanced, and if, as these things tend to have lots of heavy weights cantilevered out, you get a bit of wind and that starts rocking and the whole thing goes over. So I want to have a look first of all at the base, see if I can't get a grinding wheel on it or something and take off the high spots that are causing the problem, and then get at least a base that won't rock. Because if I can do that, I think we're on the way there. But that's probably the biggest and dirtiest job of the lot. So I'm going to dig out the angle grinder, some discs, masks, goggles, all the usual stuff, and we'll have a go at this base to try and find where the high spots are, mark them up and grind them out so that we're left with basically a perimeter that's all square and flat. using the angle grinder there, it reminds me my relationship with angle grinders has not been good in the past. When I was cutting the aluminium panels for the mobile workbench, I was cutting them with a disc in an aluminium angle grinder, and I'd not realised how grabby aluminium is. And I was at many sheds with it, indeed wearing these very same trousers, and this thing grabbed and went down like that, and you can see from that there that I very nearly had the most serious accident you can have. It did get through to the skin, it did do some surface damage, but I was once again extremely lucky, although it was my own stupidity and not really knowing what I was doing, I suppose, that we ended up not ending up speaking in a very high voice, or indeed there's a femoral artery down there somewhere. So just a warning with these things, at these times it's not the time to be using equipment without all the proper PPE and being very, very careful, because the very last thing the health service needs at the moment is bodgers and idiots like me clogging up the system when they've got more important things to do. So maybe just gentle warning to everybody, just to keep very safe if you are doing any workshop work, because as I say, all the resources at the moment are very, very tied up in other things. Right, let's get on and paint this thing now. Just take the rest of it isn't too bad, it just needs really a coat of satin black. Probably I'll just clean some of the rough rust and muck off, but it just needs taking apart. Just clean these bits up with a brush and mainly get all this stuff stripped back to metal where necessary. Coat of primer on the upright post, I think. It's galvanised, so it's not going to stick very well anyway, but I'll give it a coat of red oxide and then black, and we'll just satin black the rest of it, and hopefully then we'll just be a matter of cleaning up the feeders and putting them on. Well, I hope that was interesting. Hopefully now it'll take a day or two, I'm sure, for the smell of the paint and that to wear off, and we'll start to get the birds back in the garden that we used to get there all the while, and brighten the place up a bit. It's something I can see from out the window of the shed when I'm working, so it's all very pleasant to have them there. So hopefully they'll all start and come back again now there's free food on offer. Look forward to seeing you again next week. We'll have something different, I hope. I'll see you then. Take care. Bye.